It's Florida summer and it is hot. I feel like I'm breathing through a wet sock. Today, I've got the opportunity to speak to other real estate professionals at the Our World Conference, which is at the Marriott in Boca Raton. So you guys know what I think about the housing market. You've heard my predictions. You know what I think about the economy. You know what I think about mortgage interest rates. You know what I think about the government manipulating the system. So I'm not going to go into a deep dive about all the things that you already know that I've shared about. And if you haven't watched that content, then just go back and look over the last 2 years. There is 2 years worth of content there. But today I want to provide the most value and see what other real estate professionals think. Now, there are 90,000 agents in my market, and of those 90,000, only 1,000 do 10 pools or more. But the folks that are here are the best of the best. They have paid a premium to participate in this conference, and we're going to talk to real professionals, real boots on the ground operators, people who are doing business on a day-to-day basis. I want to know what they think about the market, and we can compare and contrast. So today, let's get right into it. I'm here with Jonathan, the Chief Operating Officer for Location Real Estate, and I'm curious, what are your thoughts in terms of the housing market over the course of the next year?
Well, it really depends on where you are. If you're working in our local marketplace, the Tri-County area, with the density that we have, our market really truly hasn't been that affected by what you've seen in the more rural or lower density areas where prices are fluctuating more. What you're seeing here is the housing market staying strong. There is more inventory, so there are more options in the open market. However, buyers are never a bad idea to get into a home. In the long run, real estate never goes down. You might see fluctuations in the short term, but 20 years down the road, you're going to wish you had bought a home instead of renting and throwing the money in somebody else's pocket rather than building your own equity.
Do you see near-term volatility that's keeping people out of the market?
There's hesitations and concerns with consumers, but I don't think in the end that is going to prevail.
All right, full disclosure, I'm friends with Peter. I know a little bit more about his background, and he tends to be a little bit self-effacing. So I'm going to just put it out there. Isn't it true that you were at one point an analyst for the Fed?
I was, yes.
Okay, so we have a Fed analyst who is now in the real estate space. That is a very powerful person to have in the alliance with. And prior to that, you were also in the accounting space, right?
I was working for one of the biggest accounting firms in the world, Ernst & Young, commonly known as EY.
Very interesting. Okay, so then I think it's fair to assume that your opinions that you have are not necessarily based on the hype that you see in the media or whatever nonsense garbage is out there in terms of information. It's through a lens that's a little bit more analytical because you were, and let me just make sure I'm getting this correct, you were an analyst for the Fed.
Correct. Yeah.
Big Papa Powell, Jerome Powell. We're talking about Fed monetary policy. We're talking about pausing. We're talking about the tightening cycle. And we're talking about an analyst who worked for them. Okay, cool. What are your thoughts about today's housing market?
Yeah, so the market is a very interesting one nonetheless, because what I'm seeing right now is that the properties that are priced well are moving, but the properties that are a little bit higher than what they should be have a tendency to sit on the market a little bit, and I am getting them a little bit at a discount, especially in the short-term STR or long-term LTR space for some of my investors.
So for people who don't know what STR is, what is this?
Yeah, so STR, short-term rentals, and LTRs are going to be your long-term rental.
Okay, so you're working with a lot of investors, and I would suspect that the investor client is more interested in what the cash flow of the property is, really more than anything else. So obviously nobody's looking to go out there and buy something that gets cut in half in terms of equity, but they're really going to be hyper-focused on, does that property generate revenue on a regular basis?
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
And you're having success with that.
We are. So no matter where the rates are right now today at the time of this video, I am still seeing that these people are ready, willing, and able to move. There is still money moving. There is still transactions that are happening in real time. So the desperate sellers that are in need of the cash are making it really easy for the great investors that understand the cash flow of the property.
Well, that makes sense, but you said something that I want to key in on here, because everyone right now is very sensitive to mortgage interest rates.
Big time.
And mortgage interest rates right now, or I don't know what they are today, but let's just for argument's sake, say we're at 7%. Now, if we were to go back to a historical norm back in the 70s, they were 15%, 16%, 17%. Obviously, we're not there yet, but I suspect your investor client is going to be less concerned or less rate hike sensitive than other buyers. Is that true, or am I
Absolutely so. Absolutely. They're buying. Doesn't matter if they're rate 6, 7, 8, or 9. Some of these guys are picking up, DSCR loans, which are a little bit higher. Some of these investors are also drawing bank statement loans, whatever they can do in order to qualify to actually purchase the property and get it to cash flow as soon as possible and close as fast as possible.
And I also know, because we do business together, you work with a lot of international clients, right?
I do.
Do you find that international buyers have more of a challenge in terms of getting financing than a traditional buyer would in our market today?
So that's a very interesting question. What I'm finding with my international buyers is that they're a lot more cash heavy, which makes the financing maybe not as challenging. And there's a lot of money moving into the States. I have some people that are coming in from Europe, and then I have a big portion coming in even from Canada. And the money just needs to be seasoned, but the banks are still willing to lend to them, but they're going to be going down the non-QM routes. Those are going to be the most popular products with them.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this, because you just gave us a good snapshot of where you feel the market is today. Where do you suspect the market will trade a year from now?
Oh, I wish we knew exactly and had absolute certainty, but as of right now, there are no signs that I'm seeing from my investor clients of things slowing down. However, I think we're going to be hurting maybe a little bit. However, when it comes to the market itself, there's always going to be an opportunity.
Well, when you say that we're going to be hurting, let me be very clear. The market is hurting tremendously.
Yes.
The real estate sector is hurting tremendously. The ancillary businesses that support the real estate sector are getting decimated. So there are 40% less closings that have happened in the state of Florida, period. So title companies are getting decimated. Mortgage lenders are getting decimated. The refinance market has fallen off a cliff. It doesn't exist anymore. So there are a lot of folks that are failing out of the industry right now. And what's cool about this particular conference is these are the all-stars. So I appreciate you speaking with me today. I'm going to go for some more people to really get a feel for what other professionals think.
As I've been looking on the housing market, it's really not too good. The interest rates are really high at the moment. So I've been going back to renting, just signing a new lease right now, actually. So.
Wow. So you think it's better to wait rather than buy right now?
I do think it's better to wait right now, renting instead of buying right now. Yeah.
Well, I say that all the time. I think there's no right or wrong choice in terms of when to buy a home. It's when it's right for you.
Correct.
And it sounds like renting is right for you now. But I'm curious, what's the rental market been like in terms of shopping? Have those rents gone bananas?
The rental prices have gone up, especially for one bedroom or two bedroom or one bedroom apartments. Like they're going crazy right now.
Yeah. Where?
East Boca.
Oh my gosh, East Boca has gone through the roof.
Very sought after area for sure, and I love the area, so I would encourage people to move there as well. But we're oversaturated right now, so don't.
Yeah, and don't buy hers because she's trying to get one. So
Yeah.
There we go.
It's a great thing about Oklahoma. Honestly, our market is always fairly good. I like to think of it as like our secret place, which although we have a lot of people moving there, it's a great place to live. There's a lot to do. A lot of people don't necessarily think about it, but we have so many people moving in from California, Colorado, literally all over, and we do have a lot of investors as well from California and those places like that too. So it's always a good market in Oklahoma, even whenever we had the big crash in 2008 and everything like that. It never hit Oklahoma the way it did a lot of other places.
Well, you hit something that I say all the time. It's always a good market for someone. You just have to be smart enough as to know who to pivot to accordingly. So, okay, so the market looks strong now, right? How is your supply side in terms of
Still low, like I think everyone.
Yeah.
And we've been dealing though with low inventory for a while, just because, like I said, we do have so many investors and just people coming there from out of state. But I mean, it is starting to get better in certain areas. There's certain suburbs that it's still certain price points are crazy hard to find. So it's slowly, I think, getting better, but it's still very, very hard.
Yeah.
Well, there's not a lot of supply here, so local home builders are typically in control of that supply, and they've just been raising prices and premiums, and it's been insane. The frenzy in that space has been off the charts.
Really? So my dad's actually a home builder in Oklahoma City and Edmond area, and our building is getting better too. Like I have noticed in certain those smaller suburb areas that, not that they're overbuilt, but there is more inventory for certain price points in those smaller suburbs where it is doing better, like I said, in the bigger suburbs that people are wanting to move to. And really a lot of my luxury listings, new constructions have started to do really good. And a lot of those people coming are those California buyers with cash, as well as people from Colorado, because they come to Oklahoma and they're like, this is so cheap what you can get compared to other places. But
well, I'm curious, so as far as the home builders are concerned, do you see any of them starting to offer incentives? Are they doing anything to...
So certain price points, yes. Because another builder that I work for, I've been having that issue where I don't even think we're necessarily needing to do that, but you see one builder do it, the rest of them all freak out and add on, the $15,000 incentive. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's not, I mean, used to houses with new construction, they would sit for 3 to 6 months. And now that's sort of starting to happen a little bit, they're like, this isn't right. Like, I didn't have an offer before I put it on the market. And I'm like, well, that's what we used to do,
Back to normal.
Back to normal,
Right.
exactly. So I think that's kind of where builders are having to adjust again.
Yeah.
But
so I'm curious, so that's what the market's like today, and you would say 12 to 18 months from now, what would you predict the market looks like?
Since it's Oklahoma, I still think good. Like I said, I think our inventory is going to go up, which will help. But at the same time, we just have so many people moving there, which is great. But I'm like, I don't want the traffic to get back. I love Oklahoma. It's my little sanctuary. But
Well, I don't know if you've noticed, but Boca Raton is so overpopulated that the traffic is...
come to Oklahoma, but that's why I travel a lot. But there's no beach in Oklahoma, though. There's no beach, but we have, green grass and hills, and there's no. Everyone's like, are there teepees there? I'm like, no. I mean, yes, but no. Like it's a great city. It's a great big city. Yes, we do have the Sooners, the Cowboys. We got good football.
So let me ask you to make another prediction. And I know you're not a predictor or an economist, but if you were to guess, where do you think mortgage interest rates are a year from now?
Oh gosh, you had me with that one. I'm hoping 4.5% to 5%. I mean, the other day I did get somebody at 5.7, so it just depends on the day. They are kind of hopping all around, especially where I'm at. One day I had somebody at 6%, and 2 days later it was 7.5. I was like, okay, but I'm hoping that it'll start to trickle down a little bit. But I mean, at the same time, it shouldn't stop you from buying a home because you can always refinance later.
Good point. Well, I appreciate you participating in this interview.
Of course.
And look forward to doing some business in the future.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thanks.
We got a special treat. Palm Beach's Paul is in the house, and what you might not know is that he's very well known for his burger reviews. Well, I thought it was only fitting that we talked about the housing market in front of the burger market. Did he try these burgers?
I did try one of the burgers. I had the burger. Yeah, it's pretty good. The thoughts were good. And add a little hot sauce to it.
I've always thought you had nice thoughts.
Thoughts? Hey, leave my thoughts out of it.
Oh, there you go. All right, but let's get to business here. So you are in my market. You are an all-scout real estate professional. What are you experiencing right now in terms of with your clients?
Well, like everybody, the market's kind of a little crazy right now. I think the insurance, but I've been working with a couple first-time buyers that came in through one of my YouTube leads. The dad said, "Hey, my kid's gonna buy a house down there." I said, "Okay." And what we're experiencing in that is like anything in that $300,000 price range is gone in like seconds. Yeah. So this is what they qualify for. Trying to find them that. The problem is a lot of the HOAs have also increased tremendously on these, where these $300,000 townhomes used to have like a $250 HOA, we're seeing $450 now. And so what it's doing, it's messing up their DTI, and they don't qualify for that. And
Property is debt in the
that's good, right? So it messes up their loan where they no longer qualify. So they're being forced to look for homes that are 275s, maybe a 315 HOA or something like that. And there's just nothing out there. You have to look at them and say, hey guys, this is your first house. Understand that you're gonna have to put some sweat equity into it. You're gonna have to have a pizza party and paint, right? Those kind of things. You're not gonna find a move-in ready, beautiful house walking distance to lays of Avenue, Delray Beach at that price point.
Yeah. You seeing buyers that you're working with get priced out of the deal due to your own insurance or property insurance or absent?
Not yet. I've had people that have reached out to me through my channel say, hey, we're going to hold off from coming down there because we're worried about the insurance. Okay. So I have had people literally just not come here for that. So far, most of my clients that I have worked with have been fortunate enough to get insurance, and even though it was expensive, it worked out. We were able to close.
Good.
But, you know, I'm on the safe side of some of my listings, you know, we've had to say, hey, we had a listing where they had a hurricane section, and if they didn't have the hurricane protection, they wouldn't, the buyers would qualify because the insurance would look so much. And luckily, my seller got the hurricane windows and stuff on them. But, yeah, not so much on that. I've seen also a trend on the higher end. I've been focusing on West Palm Beach, and I've seen some people that are looking at some of the new construction up there. Not a lot, but I'm getting some trickness of that.
And so does the market feel different today than at any other point?
No, for real. Oh, absolutely. I'm having one of the slowest years I've had. Definitely this year has been slow for me compared to other years where again, business just kind of rolled in and I say, oh, I got a deal. I'm really having to focus on some marketing, not only do the YouTube, but I'm actually kind of get rid of buyers, get on the phone a little bit to do the prospecting. No, you got to find a business, and you definitely have to make sure that when you get that listing, you nail that listing because everybody's hungry for that listing now or whatever. You know, there's not as much inventory. So,
I believe the stat is that sales have dropped out here close to 40% this year in our market. So there's a lot of people out there going after a lot less business.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, I watch your videos, I see you talking about the market and whatnot, and it's, you know, it's a little worrisome. I mean, obviously we keep plugging along, and always done you. I've been doing this for a while, and we keep going through it, keep plugging away.
So in terms of, and again, I'm not trying to put you on the spot here, but I'm curious, where do you think we will see mortgage interest rates in the next year?
Wow, the mortgage interest rates have been like theme park ride, right? They've been up, they've been down, up. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing that they could actually keep going up. So I looked at channels like yours because, you know, I know you have that background, and I kind of listen to what you talk about and the people talk about, and they keep saying that the Fed may even raise it again. So I don't know. It's really scary. You know, people have this mentality that they're the 3%, 4% mortgage rate. I don't know that we'll ever see those anymore. Yeah, I think 5 at some point might be the new norm. For me ever get there, but still, they're sitting at now, like 7, right?
Remember 7 now, if you got perfect credit. If you don't, it's closer to 8 or 9.
Yeah.
I think we'll likely see a dip as we get closer to the election.
Elections always is a game changer. It always is.
So I think we'll probably trade closer to the 5s when that happens, but after
yeah. I have a question for you. How many people are you seeing coming in more cash buyers into Palm Beach County?
That's a great question. So cash sales have actually pretty much fallen off relative to last year. But most of the finance buyers that I'm working with are coming in with much bigger budgets. And so smaller loan size, not full cash pricing, right? Not full cash transactions, but they're coming in with 40 or 50%. Yeah, they're doing a big deposit. Okay, so we talked about mortgage interest rates. Where do you think the market is a year from now?
Oh, man. We've got an election year coming up, so that always plays. Now, that always plays into real estate. Can always be a little crazy. I'm hoping that, you know, the prices level out of it because I think it benefits everybody. You know, I'm not one of them that always, you know, it's great when you have if you're selling nothing but high-end homes, but in reality, we work with all kinds of people. I work with a lot of teachers. And I really hope the market kind of levels out where we can find more affordable housing. I know Governor DeSantis has tried to do a couple takes of that. We'll see how those laws work, the Hometown Heroes loan. And
yeah, you've done an incredible job working with the Hometown Heroes program. I know that, sure.
It's a great program. It really helps those people that are trying to get that first home. And the trade is you basically pay that loan back at 0% interest. So that's a great way to use that down payment. I hope the market levels out more so that people aren't afraid to move to Florida. I hope the insurance, there's stuff happen with the insurance that makes it a little bit more affordable for everybody. In general, if there's more affordable housing for everybody, we all win, right? We all are kids, have an opportunity. You and I, as realtors, have more of an opportunity, and it makes it more affordable for everybody.
Long term, I would say the future looks bright. But I must say, you need to check out Palm Beach Paul's YouTube channel because he does all types of lifestyle content and local tours and burger reviews and wherever he is, amongst many other things, where you should definitely check it out because it's definitely worth your time. All right, I'm here with Brandon Blankenship, and he is the Chicagoland All-Star Realtor. I'm curious if you wouldn't mind sharing with me what your thoughts are and what, if you're experiencing in your market right now working with clients, what do you think the outlook for the future home prices is over the next year?
Yeah, so I would say with the Chicagoland market, something that's much different from where I live is that there's not a lot of new construction communities compared to other big states like Texas, Florida, Tennessee, and all those. So if you want a brand new construction home, typically where I live, is that you have to buy a small ranch and then build up. So pretty much where I live in the Chicagoland area, we're pretty much landlocked. So in the next year or so, I think the market continues to go up and up and up. Just because of inventory issue, no new homes being built, 90% of homeowners are under a 6% interest rate. So we need something in the interest rate realm to kind of kickstart our market with inventory.
Yeah, well, speaking of interest rates, where do you think they go in the next year?
Yeah, so I think we'll sit between where we're at now for the rest of the year, and we're going to ride this out. And then I hope to see, a fast start in 2024. If I feel like if the rates touch anything in the fives, it's off to the races. I mean, the people that have the 3.5% interest rate, they just see that they're tired of this, and they're like, okay, 5, we'll do it now.
Right. Does this market feel different to you than any other market that you've experienced so far?
I've kind of bored into this market. Definitely 2020 was extremely fast-paced. 2021 was fast-paced. 2022 last year was fast-paced, and the second half of 2022 felt like where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And especially my market, like 2022, the last half of 2022 was like slow, because that was one of the first crazy interest rate hikes. Everyone got used to it this year, and now it's just weird because there's no inventory.
Have you noticed that there's a drop in sales overall in the market?
Yeah, so drop in sales. I look at the 2-year numbers all the time and supply and demand, everything like that, and it's significantly down year over year. I believe where I live in DuPage County, we're 42% down in inventory compared to regular numbers. And there's no new homes being built, so.
Yeah, supply and demand will always dictate price.
100%.
How far away are you from Peoria?
Peoria, pretty far, maybe like 2 hours.
2 hours, all right. Well, shout out to Rich Brecklin.
Oh, love you, Rich.
Good talking to you.
Awesome, thanks, brother.
I've got Ben Schachter here with me. He is the broker for Signature International Realty. And I'm curious, because they know what I think about the housing market, I'm curious what your thoughts on the housing market moving forward are.
Chris, thanks for including me. Happy to be here. I'm still very bullish on the housing market. We're not in the heyday of the dead set COVID when properties were selling for 20% over list price, but we're still in an extremely strong market. Buyers are still coming to Florida regularly. Interest rates seem to have settled, and my prediction is they're going to come down over the next half a year, slightly. So I do think it's a good time to buy, especially for a buyer looking for more options. A year and a half ago, your options were extraordinarily limited, high pressure sales, not a great time for a buyer. Today, a much more appealing time for a buyer. More chances to look at inventory, explore options, and sellers tend to be a little bit more negotiable. I think as we get closer to the 2024 election, we're going to see the market continue to improve because the economy is what drives the country. And of course, Florida is known for our super strong economy, outpacing the rest of the nation, probably 10-1. So if you're looking to work with a strong realtor, call Chris, buy a house. You'll be glad you did.
So I'm curious, I know you've been in the industry for quite some time. How does this market feel different than other markets? And do you feel anything in terms of writing on the wall as far as a setup to something like 2007, 2008?
Let's squash that right away. We are not in a housing bubble. We're not going to see the catastrophe that we saw 10, 15 years ago. So I see nothing like that. I still think the Florida market will be ascending. It's just going to ascend at a slower level. We'll see plateaus from time to time, which is natural, but I don't see a dip. I don't see a dip because of the economy. I don't see a dip because the job market is strong. I don't see a dip because the desirability of what we have to offer in Florida continues to outpace the rest of the country. We are the place to be. My prediction is that you'll see more inventory come on market. You'll see some more sellers be more negotiable, but you're not going to see a cataclysm of financial depression. You're not going to see bankruptcies. You're not going to see foreclosures the way that you did 15 years ago. Right now, you're seeing the market stabilize. You're seeing what I would refer to more as a normal market. Here in a normal market, you've got buyers having a little bit more time and a little less pressure, being able to shop for options, and you'll see them have a little bit more flexibility in terms of negotiating power with sellers, especially if they're a cash buyer or if they are financially qualified with pre-approved financing already in place. So that's what I think.
And I also think that our market is particularly insulated due to the fact that there's such a scarcity of land. There is no more land to develop. So I think we will be insulated for the near term. But I hope you're right in terms of everything else. The number one export for Florida, best I can tell, is freedom. So
we've got freedom, we've got sunshine, we've got no state income taxes, we have a raging strong economy, we have talented real estate professionals like the gentleman right here. If you're looking for property, get a hold of Chris. He'll do a great job. He'll make sure that he sells one of my listings. We'll do this together.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We're good.
I could not possibly leave without getting a hot take from my friend Leslie. So give me your hot take in terms of where the housing market is now and where it's going.
Well, I think that it's an exciting time in the housing market. Whether you want to buy or sell, it can be an opportunity for you if you put it at the right time and you're using the right agent, like our friend Chris.
Nailed it.
Tell me about the hog honking.
Because if you're going to honk my hog, I will definitely be coming to this meeting.
Oh my God.
Well, if you're going to be a time hog, we give you 20 seconds to introduce
That's all
yourself
it takes.
and talk. However, if you hit 20 seconds,
Not gonna
you
happen.
will get the hog honked on you for being a time hog.
All right, I am so excited. I've met two of the most incredible real estate professionals out there in the market, and I'm curious, what are your thoughts about the housing market today?
Daddy, we don't care about the housing market.
Oh, okay. Well, good talk.